Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 2 in our series about trauma. I am Tony with Harper Therapy, and I am here with the wonderful
Giara Blanco.
And last week we talked about generational trauma, and we used the movie Encanto to help explain it. So this week we're moving on to, I know this is your jam too, and I love it.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
We're going to talk about inner child wounds, inner child trauma, and I'm going to go out there and we're going to use the movies Star Wars and Harry Potter as a background. And we're going to get people calling and commenting, how dare I compare Star Wars and Harry Potter. So let's start with kind of the basics. Inner child wounds are things that happen to us even before we have a sense of consciousness.
Yes.
And then they continue throughout our childhood. In this particular case, we have 2 orphan boys who are being raised by family members whose family members know their inherent power and try to stop it so that they are not found. And then a turning point event happens and they're thrust into this world where their physical and emotional health was put into jeopardy, but they survive because they have the support of these friends and these older, wiser people helping them. So inner child wounds and trauma are something that we work with support. We work with additional buffering.
Absolutely. And you need that additional support. You need that. The support system, I think, is another, when you don't have that, it brings up a whole nother level of trauma.
Yeah.
So the fact that Harry Potter and Luke had that is kind of what helped them get over that bridge and then find and heal, in a sense, their trauma.
And with inner child wounds and trauma, we see a lot of abandonment. That's how it shows up on the other end. Like, I fear being abandoned. In Harry Potter, we see him like, okay, I don't like the Dursleys, but I still have to follow their rules because I have nowhere else to go. With Luke, we also see that fear of abandonment, like when he has to really confront himself and the truths of what's going on, and that turns him. And you look at this in the movies and you see when they turn into slightly rebels, but mostly people pleasers.
Yes.
They try to accommodate. They put their lives at risk to save others. It's this whole, am I a hero? Am I a people pleaser? That is a fine line.
Okay, trying to define which one is.
Yes.
Who are you? Are you being the hero? Or are you just walking through the world trying to be a people pleaser? And I think it also shows that, because I know a big thing that comes up in a lot of my sessions is family can be toxic. Just because they're your blood doesn't mean that they always have your best interest at heart. And that is really hard to hear, and that's really hard to accept. And I think there's a certain sense of healing that once you can get over that and you're able to set the appropriate boundaries and stop people pleasing and maybe realize you need to be a hero to yourself rather than to that family.
And when you think about it, in these 2 movies, Luke and Harry save themselves. And it's a beautiful kind of iteration of when we live in our shadows, and shadows come from inner child wounds, we need to either shed light on them with a lightsaber, and sometimes we need to hide them until it's a safe place to talk about them, like with the invisibility cloak. So yeah, I am geeking out on this topic.
You just went full on nerd there. Full nerd.
Because when we talk about that pain, it is something that needs either of those 2 options have to happen before there is a shift, before there is a change, before there is that acknowledgement of what is it that I'm carrying, what is the anger, the resentment that I carry, and how do I work with that?
Absolutely. Yep. So if any of this resonated with you, if any of these movies that we're talking about, you're like, hey, that really makes sense, which is, I love that you're comparing this stuff to the movies, because I think it speaks to people and it helps be like, oh, wait, I'm not alone. Oh, yeah, wait, I love Harry Potter. That makes so much sense to me. No wonder why I love Harry so much. Like, if any of this resonates, if any of this is something that's eliciting some big emotions for you, give us a call at Harper Therapy, 813 434-3639.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.